Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM Lions. This is episode 56. Last episode with the signing special, the question was brought up, a valid question, very valid question by a number of you, regarding why I let Burhi, Bitsimana, and maybe Arengana go. For one, Arengana, even though he was from a smaller nation, it was a 3-2 nation, I believe. Already 3 on the popularity. So to get the boost, it would take wins at a much higher level. And we're already seeing that wins at a higher level, even for a 1-1 nation, isn't getting us the desired results. When their popularity is already 3, it's going to require World Tour type wins. He's never going to get a World Tour win. So that's why I let Arengana go. But as for Burhi and Bitsimana, why I didn't bother to sign the extra contract and get them in, it's this. Morale. It's August, okay. We're getting fairly late in the season. But look at how many riders are upset with the number of races they're getting. And I'm already increasing the size of our roster by 1 or 2 spots for the coming year. Re-signing them, even if it was just on 1-year deals, would spread us that much more thinly next season. Now, in theory, we're going to have a lot of World Tour races next year, as long as we make Continental Pro and as long as we continue to score points in those pro races the rest of this year to keep our position secure at the top. I do think I finally explained this one on why I was paying so much attention to what was going on. You can see the top 10 teams are all World Tour teams. Beginning in the next 10 down, it's still World Tour teams until Movistar, Trefau, and now us. We have dropped to 3rd, but we're only 300 points behind. We are 3rd in the Continental Pro. Now, there is a chance that one of these teams above us is not going to be a World Tour team any longer, or that one of these Continental Pro teams above us is going to be a pro team next year. We don't know what those rankings are going to quite look like. At the moment, as things are beginning to take shape with the biggest riders getting signed, so far it looks like Kamate moving up, Movistar moving up. But who is dropping down? Intermarché, Radio Popular. We need to see where they fit into the rankings. Intermarché is 8th. They are quite high in the rankings. Radio Popular is not, though. They are way down the rankings in 30th. They're not a threat. But Movistar going to World Tour essentially to replace them. And then Iola Kamate coming up as well. That, at the moment anyway, would place us 2nd. But that's all at the moment. So you have the ranking index that is ever changing for the next month or so. And then our actual rankings. But when we do reach the end of the season, whichever teams are classified as Continental Pro, wherever we fit into the team rankings comparatively, as long as we make Continental Pro, and that's the other big if right now. Do we have enough about us without any significant improvement at the top 3 from last year? Below that, we have a lot of significant improvement, but we have not improved at the top except just slightly. All right. Roteasir went from a low end to our 2nd best. He was our 3rd best, but he's pushed up into that 2nd best, and where he was is flooded with other talent. So yes, we've improved, but it's marginal. It's very marginal. So we have to first qualify Continental Pro once again. We then, second, have to be placed inside the top 3 at the very least of the future Continental Pro teams. We're not making World Tours. We know that at best we're going to be Continental Pro. But we have to be ranked high enough where those top teams, it's up to 3, definitely 2, you'll get either automatic or very nearly automatic bids to any race you want to go to World Tour wise as a top 3. We want the GC one, as that's the most points, and that's what we're best suited to. But I would take the Classics one. Right now, we can't get into World Tour races because we have no reputation. Getting into the top of the rankings will force them to accept us. It's what takes care of that reputation deficit for us. It'll cover it off. That's why I'm focused so heavily on those pro races this season and collecting those points and seeing where we fit next to every one. We were at the top of those standings. We've slipped. Why? Because the month of July brought a whole lot of points, especially at the Tour de France. And we weren't there. Next year we might be. And that's the key difference. Now, of course, if we are going to qualify once again for Continental Pro, it's going to be pertinent to pay attention to what's going on in the transfer market. Right now, Van Barle is the last 6-star rider, but he's 36. So I can see why there's a little less interest going around for him. And he's currently a Radio Popular rider. So he is their key guy. Them ultimately re-signing him would bump them right on up and change that market once again. For us, it would be good if they're down because they are so poor points-wise. 5.5 stars go right down to the bottom of the list, but you can see we do have our first 5-star guy in Honore. So there is a drop, but there's still a lot of 5-star talent. And remember, that's our best guy, is 5-star. So matching our best guy, there's still a good, looks like about 30 riders that match that equivalent. That's harsh for us. That can really, really drop us down. Let's hope that all of them go into the teams that are already ranked above us, which seems unlikely. Very next day, Van Barle has signed with Total Energies. Total Energies is a current Continental Pro side, so this is changing the landscape of the market. This is getting a little worrying because in one day we dropped from 24th to 29th. A lot of signings took place on that day for that to happen, but that is a huge drop for us. The edge of the window is just 36th. Our cushion just got a hell of a lot smaller. We are a full 3.5 stars now, and maybe a 10th beyond it. We might be 3.6. That's a pretty big margin to the bottom of the bubble at the moment, but that's still pretty worrying about where things are trending right now. Ooh, wow. Okay, so in that one day, we saw some major signings, though. All of the 5.5 star guys, including the 6-star guy in Van Barle, have all signed. They are all gone. So now we're down to comparative riders, and not a ton of them. Hodeg at the end of the list of the 5 stars, just over one page. You got Bauhaus is the edge of one page. Hodeg is 2 spots below. A limited number of 5-star prospects, and that's getting a lot closer to us being above the bubble and being secure, but it's far from a done deal as of yet. With the end of the season being a light schedule, it was pretty easy to pick out a few races and throw in some objectives for riders to give them one last good fitness peak at the end of the season. So my expected race day condition today was 2 guys with +5s and an overall +8 expected, with a couple of guys demotivated because of not getting enough race time. 70k to go here. Let's go ahead and get Carlos to get us some water. But with a +8 being the expected, having a -2 for the day hurts. That means we had a -10 draw. Doesn't get a whole lot worse than that, but the good news is that all of that, or most of that, negativity went into 2 riders. Carlos, Johannes Dalek, both on -5s. They were the 2 guys that combined had a -2 on the expected, that had the low motivation, but Carlos has a 99% fitness. There's no reason for him to be carrying a -5. He was just a little sad that he wasn't getting enough races, but we have 30k to go, starting to slow things down, and let's bring it on down. The breakaway 5 riders still have a gap, but it's coming down fairly quickly. Now at 1.5 minutes. It was 2 minutes just 6k ago, so it's coming down pretty quick. We do have some undulation along the way to the finish, and this is considered a punchy stage, as we do have a short, steepish climb on the way to the finish line, which means you've got to have a little combination of capable sprint, but also you've got to be able to climb. So we've been protecting guys, but even these -5s, they're doing just fine with 13k to go. We're going to go ahead and go ahead and set up our sprint train now, even though we've got a climb coming, to get established, to get out front, and then be able to push on that climb to try to get a little separation and set up guys that are not sprinters to be able to sprint and maybe come away with a top result here. As the breakaway has nearly been reeled in, and as we get out front, we got a little hill here that sets us up nicely, though this is not the climb. He's done onto Carolus. 10K. End of the breakaway. Through a sprint point there. Carolus picked up 6 points. He's done. Onto Hinoke. 9K. And onto the climb. This is where we're trying to get a little separation. Kareem's the one I need to keep an eye on because I'm intending on using his really good flat rating to keep us out front, keep us secure, and at the moment we're not separating anyone 500 meters. Still no separation. There's Janssen and Noak. Go ahead and follow that. Switch that order up. 5K. Let's just go ahead and gel up with everyone now. Kareem does not have the red bar to keep pushing, but he'll get a quick recovery here on the next couple of corners, and then we will have him take over with a bit of recovery now in the books. 2.7, starting his sprint. Now Samuel's inside the final 2 kilometers. Janssen is the guy we are sprinting for, and he has been set up inside the final kilometer. Now Janssen, I didn't realize there was a little bit of a hill, but we have separation. We have separation. It's looking like we might be taking this thing. Yep, they got somebody coming on late, but it's too late for them. Janssen takes the win. Hinoke's going to take second. Quentin Hermans is the one who comes along, and Samuels gets 4th. Job well done. Is there separation here? It is a punchy stage. Probably not going to give it. Well done. A 1-2 finish. No time gap, but that's a really good start to this 2-pro Tour of Arctic 4-stage race. By no gaps given, I really mean no gaps given. The first gap is all the way down to 126th position. We're in Burgos, stage 3 of 5. And this was a race that it's more of a B team here, but there's enough quality amongst the riders that they could do something. But this is a team littered with those low morale guys that didn't have enough races of late. As a result, we're looking at a ugly race day condition. It's almost red across the board. We have a single green in a Shimway with a +1, offset immediately by Matoni, and then others give us an overall -6 as a group because of low motivation. This is not necessarily a bad draw. This is simply down to them being that bad off morale-wise. 3:30 to the breakaway, 8 riders. Not a huge gap already coming down, meaning they appear not to be a threat. It's a medium mountain stage with a bit of a climb at the end. If we had better race day condition, I would think we'd have a decent shot. But our best climbers aren't here. We got guys that are just okay in the discipline. And with the race day condition, especially like a Bitsimana with a -3, it's like he knows he's not getting signed for next season or something. That's not what his low motivation is for. It's the lack of races. But that's some of our best guys in this group. Matoni, Bitsimana, Arab are all amongst the best climbers here, along with Shimway. So Shimway becomes the de facto leader because he's the only one with a positive race day condition. Still 3.5 minutes to the breakaway. They are starting to split up. No, that was just attacking the intermediate sprint. They're going to be a difficult catch. We've got a lot of fatigue in our riders going over this penultimate climb. Now the gaps start to come down 2.5 minutes. 25K to go. Now we've got to fix our position. Oh. And a Shimway goes down. A Shimway. Benuna's back up. Molebron's back up. A Shimway's back up. So 3 riders end up going down. And they have been split off at this point. And so I'm down to 2 riders in the group. Wow. Okay. Benia Messias is done. These guys are making contact and regaining position. 104 riders, but They're pushing really hard. Arab's on a -2, one of the weakest guys, but he's the only one who didn't miss out, and so he's in a very different position than these guys. Mulebron, why are you not even trying to move forward when everybody else was? 23 seconds ahead, and other riders have tried to do the same thing. Bitsimana, go ahead and protect Shimwei, who is at least back in position. And Mulebron has bridged this gap. Go ahead and sit on for a minute and recover. You got two big teams. Nope, now that gap's just opening. Okay, well, see you later. And base of the climb. And just like that, we've got 3 riders, all a bit exhausted. Just 34 in the peloton. 5 key riders left off front. Now 3 riders left off the front. No, it's still 5. That was somebody attacking Brenner. Brenner's, isn't he like an 80? Oh, yes, he is. We got a 3-man train possible. 5.6k. We'll need it soon. For now, UAE doing the work. 5k. We'll use up Bitsimana and then we'll switch to... Oh, no, don't. Shimwei, best as a climber. His medium mountain's not great, which is not a good combination for what we're trying to do here. But the ending, we're down to 25, chasing 2, by the way, but Brenner is leading that way with one guy tagging along. Okay, Shimwei, 3k, and Gel, 15 chasing. Pause for a second. Arab, Bitsimana have both been dropped. Let's put them on auto, give them best chance to get something out of the result. 75. We're about to get dropped. Made it to the final 10, but 9 riders go clear. Shimwei left behind, now 10, so he's about 11th. Following Fortunato, 700 meters. Brenner takes the win. Vendita Beal takes second. Maybe a little early to try to attack this, but he'll get 12th. Final 12k of stage number 3 back over at the Tour of Arctic. These 2 races going on at the same time. Stages 3 out of 4 here. And it's a punchy finish, but it's not just punchy. It's 5k, 5%. That is something. So Carlos gets us out front. We're inside 9k. We'll have Kareem get us to the base. So we'll go ahead and move on to him now and set maybe a 97. That should keep him out front. We'll get Hanouk ready. And then we've got basically 4 guys for the climb to get through 5k. Janssen, I'm just going to try to tag along and see if he can hang on to his position, which is 2nd overall. But as we reach the base here, Kareem just finishing up. We're going to get on to Hanouk, who has his gel now. So Samuel's getting ready. And do we want to go 99? Not really. Let's back off just a little bit. 96. He's not that punchy, actually. So Hanouk, this is mostly only hurting him. Samuel's keeping the pace fairly easily on him as we are starting to see some riders drop. Okay, 2.9k, so on to Samuels. And he is fairly punchy, so he's going to do some damage here to his teammates. But we'll gel up for those guys. Inside 2k. 94 now. 1.6k. And we're seeing a split front 5. So I've got the front 4 and David A. Ballerini, the only one keeping up, and he is weak. But will Petrovic cover that gap? He's an 80, 79, 80. You figure he's going to cover it pretty quickly, pretty easily. 1.4k now. Go ahead and sprint with Samuels and let Johannes Dalek. Oh man, he is punchy all the way, so let him go 95. Yeah, they've already regained contact momentarily. Johannes Dalek setting us up well. Okay, he's going to sprint it out. And Burhi. Can we get a stage win for Burhi? Looks like we can. Oh, yes, we can. That's going to be another 1-2 finish. Another 1-2 finish. Different 1-2. Burhi, Johannes Dalek. Ballerini hangs on for 3rd. Janssen gets 4th. No time loss for him. Here is some time losses, though. Samuels, 22 seconds down before he crosses. That should be a time loss. And this time, the time gaps are given. Burhi wins by 4 seconds. So he gets the 10-second time bonus and an extra 4 seconds on top of it. Johannes Dalek gets 6, and he'll have a healthy gap over others. Janssen gets a healthy gap over others. Ballerini does pick up the 4 seconds. He'll be up there with us, but Adam Yates, Petrovic in the next group. Samuels then at 21 seconds in a small group, and then another group at 28, another group at 39, 59, lots and lots of gaps. So in the GC, with one stage to go, Burhi leads, Janssen is second, Johannes Dalek third. Podium, 1, 2, 3. Burhi, 2 pro race, Ethiopia, 3-2 nation. Could this be a boost if he wins the overall? We'll be writing for him to try to ensure that that is the case. Samuels is in the top 10. Henok, top 15. We're all over the points. We're all over the mountain classification. We are dominating the team classification and the young riders. Can we sweep this thing and get all kinds of points? Big final stage coming for us. Final stage in Burgos, and the race day condition on first glance is terrible. Looks really bad. At this point in the race, everyone is in expected 0 race day condition, but one rider, Sammy Arab, only has an 81% fitness, so you would expect that to come with an automatic, just some negatives, and he does. He's got a pretty bad -3. Overall, though, it's only a -3 as a team, and I would expect roughly a -2 thanks to Arab. So in reality, it's not so bad. It's really not so bad. But as we're down, whoa, already down to 4K. Okay. I was thinking we still had about 7 or 8. No, we're getting right down to it. Red bar wise, we are looking weak, but we've got some capability here, and we're going to set it up. Ashimwe, he's the guy who's hanging on to 9th place. This field is spread all over the place through the early stages. So we're going to ride for him, but we're going to ride with support of Motoni and Benuna and Beni Messias. Ride as hard as he can. He's got no red bars, so 4K. Bitsimana is just too far down. Get him out of the mix. Okay, Molebron's going to take over here in a moment. 3.3K. Beni Messias. Gel for these guys, 3K. What we don't have, though, is the red bar to be able to make some sort of big push. Arab's still ahead of Molebron. Molebron hasn't even gotten up beside him. 2.5K. Beni Messias going a little bit better. 2K and a 95. Benuna. Can he get clear? Breakaway had a huge advantage today. Monake takes the win. Abner Gonzalez was up there as well. Former rider. Couple seasons ago. Couple years ago. 99. Matoni doesn't have anything. 1.7K. Can't sprint. Ashimwe, the last guy who has anything left, and we just can't go anywhere. He doesn't have it either. Can I sprint with anyone? No. Is it going to let me sprint? No. Finally. There we go. Final kilometer. Sprinting. At least they've got plenty of yellow bar for that, but there's separation. There's a group going clear. Time loss. Time loss is coming. Already 6 minutes to that group. This is a strange one, but we just couldn't get a good draw. Like I said, overall, it was a -1. It really wasn't that bad, but it was the wrong riders getting the pluses, the right riders getting big negatives, and it just left us with a situation we couldn't overcome. Burgos did not go well, but we're in a great position for the Arctic race. Can we finish that one off now? Gonzalez Monake jumped the standings, so Ashimwe drops 2 spots to 11th. Otherwise, he was still fairly well placed overall. Marco Brenner keeps the win. Abner Gonzalez takes 2nd place. Final stage, and the profile is incredibly favorable for us. I've got 2 riders doing the work, Carolus and Kareem. They're actually really the only 2 riders that are down the standings at all. Everybody else is very well placed, almost all of them in the top 10 right now. So we've got a great opportunity on our hands. It's essentially a sprint, but there is undulation along the way, so that'll set us up nicely at the end. All we have to do is keep this breakaway in check, and I was keeping it in check. We were the only ones that were chasing them, but they have sped up, so we need to speed up as well with Carolus and Kareem to do the work. Other teams finally step it up as we step up, and they'll start pulling that back. So 4 minutes to the breakaway. It's 6 riders. Let's do a check-in on those 6 riders and see how they're looking as Pais. He's 75 flat, but that's all he's got. Tuesday. There is some quality here. And Brambilla, obviously, 81 mountain, 79 medium mountain. But this isn't that kind of profile. It's mostly going to come down to a 70 flat, and all of them seem to be in that same rough area. We've already pulled back a minute on these guys with 55k to go. Samuels today is kind of the domestique, as the proper domestiques are doing the work there at the front, and we're going to have to speed up a little bit more for them. But as long as others are chasing and the gap's coming down, then things are going well, and we've done our job effectively. Samuels has the water. He's going to go bring it up there. This is Cat 2, only in name. Now, I want Kareem for the final stretch. So I'm going to go ahead and back off with him. And let's check in. How are we doing on these climbs? We need to up the effort of these three guys a little bit to hold position. Peloton's down to 48. It's suddenly gotten intense. No, it's not the same climb, but it's the same hill. It's like you're hitting one side of the hill and then you hit the other side of the hill. So the elevation change is very similar. Front group down to 4 with one guy in the no man's land. 253. It's not coming down too fast, but it should be controllable. 44 riders. I didn't check what their time was. Let's check on the time of those guys at the front. Brambilla, the one coming back. Well, that's good for us. What about the other 4? 109, 109. All of them are 109. 109, 23k. We're going to come at them pretty hard. Carlos, gel, 85. Kareem, we might need to gel for him here fairly soon too. We're going to have to start chasing. They're a minute down, so as that's coming down, we're in a good state here. 20k. After this climb, I think we're going to start our train. Kareem, gel. Let's get these guys in a little bit more stronger position to hold as we're seeing an attack. Carolus? How does Carolus get off the front out of that? They don't keep up with him. He's just literally leading. Peloton has just 22 riders. You betcha. Let's go for it. Hanok is the one who, yeah, he's 15th, so we'll use him. This is going to be more about kind of the order and protecting your leader. So Burhi, Jansen's going to go last because he's the sprinter, but can we get this proper separation? 16k from the finish. No. Back together. Carlos is done. Put him on auto. Heading into that final climb. And Kareem is done much earlier than expected. But here's the big pressure move right now from Hanok. This is going to really close that gap on the front guys much faster. This is now putting our front positions in a little bit of jeopardy with 12k to go. And we've nearly caught the front group. And we've split the field. We are a front 5 off the front. 72 riders just behind. Look likely to regain contact, but for now they don't. Back together. 77 at the front. Hanok now just keeping control. 7k. Save that last little bit, Hanok. It's probably going to result in you getting dropped, losing your 15th position, but it's okay. 6k. Final gels. Samuel should not face any danger in getting dropped. Can we drop others, though? He'll go 99 for a little bit, and we do drop others. Johannes Stalick now to take over. Hanok does get dropped. Oh, for a second it was 12 riders. Samuels. Sit. Top 17. 1k to go. I don't want Jansen to steal the sprint here. Johannes Stalick, sprint. Burhi, sprint. Johannes Stalick, do not steal this from your teammate, so sit up. which means we are giving away the win. Hermans, oh gosh, he was in place, but Burhi gets 6 seconds. I think I made that work. Johannes Dalek probably would have won that. I took a stage win away, trying to set up Burhi for the overall. Let's see if I calculated that right. Hermans was the guy who was in 4th. It's going to scoot him up into the podium. He gains 10 seconds, but Burhi gains 6. I think he's okay. Same time, front of the field, so no changes there. Minute 2 to 25th on back. So in the GC, oh yes, okay, that worked out. It was Ballerini, not Hermans. Hermans was 7th. So yes, that did work out. We sacrificed a stage to keep the podium and keep the podium as is. Burhi, Janssen, and Johannes Dalek. 1, 2, 3. Ethiopia with an overall win. The stage win did absolutely nothing for us, but will the overall do something for Ethiopia? Samuels moves up a spot to 9th. We do lose Henok. We sacrificed him for that move, but that's okay. He was only 15th. Points. Janssen takes it. Mountain, not us. Young Riders, 1-2, and the team win. So we keep quite a few points overall. That's a great haul for our team. We'll see where this puts us in the rankings. But does Ethiopia get a boost? We have been trying and not getting anywhere with this, especially this season. 0 points gained on the entirety of this season, despite numerous successes. And there's the reason to let Burhi go. We can win a 2 pro race. He won a stage. He won the overall. 2 pro, no point for Ethiopia. He's not going to win a World Tour race. And that's why. He had +5 all race long. Fit his peak, objective, big bonuses throughout that race. 4s and 5s every stage. That was enough of a boost to get him to barely win a 2 pro race, having to literally sacrifice a teammate and a stage win to set him up for it. But it doesn't result in a bonus. 1-1 nation, maybe, which we've already seen a 2 pro stage win not result in a plus. This is not like last year's game. They changed the model. They made it a lot harder to level up a nation. And it's kind of frustrating because we are doing what's necessary again and again and not getting there. But the biggest thing we can do for ourselves right now is improve our position here, and that brings us back up to 15th, right behind Traufit. Movistar has fallen back down, so we are back to 2nd place in the Continental Pro rankings, 1 point behind Traufit. So 1 point out of the top spot for Continental Pro. Just like that. Big race, Tour de France comes along, and we have one good race, and we are right back in position now, over 6,000. We shattered our previous record already, and we've still got just shy of 2 months left of racing, but it's a much thinner late calendar, so movement becomes less and less and less. Team Index, for now, it's only been a few more days, but Team Index holding on to that 29th position. Let's hope that A, that holds on, but B, we can flip back to the top of the standings and hold it. That would ensure. But of course, as World Tour Continental Pro changes hands, we could be looking at Continental Pro teams above us in the rankings who are currently World Tour teams and dropping down and then getting automatic bids. So continually improving our position is going to be important. Being in 15th, being in 14th, that would be a huge step. But we have a very, very close battle from Traufit through Movistar within 100 points of each other. Less than 100, well, yeah, just over 100 points. 5,600, not that far back. So it's awfully tight here. Trek is 700 points almost ahead of us. DSM is 1,000 points ahead of us. So that gap starts getting a little bit bigger just above us. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.